Hi there, Jeffrey Rhoades from Experimental Homesteader, Exotic Gardening, and Richcherson.com. Uh, so we had an adventure today. Uh, took the day off of work, and we went to Kokomo. We had made arrangements with Kokomo Chamber of Commerce, and we went to see some of the points of interest in Kokomo. I was trying to think of how I wanted to say it. We started off. We went to the Kokomo opalescent glass factory. This is a glass factory that has been in operation since 1888. They make art glass, which is different from, like window pane glass. This is artistic glass that is used for like stained glass, and it's a thicker, opaque style of glass. Even their clear glass is not crystal clear window pane style. It has imperfections and things that make it, where you can't really see clearly through it. But we went and took a tour of the factory, which was very cool. It was very interesting. It was actually very hot in the factory, at least in one section of it. Their furnace that they use runs at about 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit, making the room very hot to work in. We were talking to them. The rolling machine for the glass, the operators that are there are rotate out. They spend about 15 minutes operating the machine, and then they trade off and go sit with a fan blowing on them. So it's 15 minutes on, 15 minutes off in rotation for their shift. The furnace runs or stays operating 24/7. They do not produce for 24/7 operation at this time. There was a time when the demand for stained glass was higher, that they were running 3 shifts, but now they only run 1 shift of operations. But the furnace stays hot for 24/7. I think he said they shut it down like once every 25 years or so, or at least they do sections of it at a time, but it's pretty much a continuous operation. They don't really ever shut it down completely. But it was very interesting. This factory, it's one of 4 in the United States that produces art glass. And this one, when it first started, the gentleman who started it came from Rochester, New York. And one of his first customers, / partners in business, was Tiffany. So they produced some of the Tiffany glass that is still in existence. They have worked with Disney, producing some of the glass in the Disney World castle. They did the stained glass work for the Tim Allen movie Santa Claus. So very, they ship glass all over the world. They have people that come to take the tour like we did from all over the world, which is really pretty cool. And the tour was a lot of fun. It's normally $6. We made arrangements and we were allowed to take the tour for free. And we spent about an hour and a half on the tour?
Yeah, an hour or two, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was about an hour and a half. And they showed, a lot of different parts of what they do, including some glass blowing, glass cutting. They do some restoration work, all sorts of things. One key piece of information, though, if you would want to take the tour, make sure that you are wearing good shoes that are not open-toed, no sandals, no flip-flops. Make sure your shoes are, proper footwear for inside of a factory. You also are required to wear safety glasses. And when handling any of the glass, you're supposed to be wearing gloves, which they do provide pairs of gloves because you are allowed to look through some of the glass for purchase purposes. And the glass can be sharp, so there is safety gloves to wear when handling the glass so as not to have an accident and cut yourself. After the glass factory, we went to the downtown area to have some lunch. We actually stopped in a toy store first. There was a vintage toy store across the street from the restaurant that we wanted to eat at. Or did we go? We ate first, didn't we?
We ate first, yeah.
Okay. We actually ate first, then went to the toy store. We went to Cook McDougal's Irish Pub in downtown Kokomo. Had a very nice lunch. Sheri had beer-battered cod and French fries, or no, pub chips.
French fries,
they were pub chips. Sorry, she had fish and chips. So it was beer-battered cod and pub chips. She actually also had some mashed potatoes and a house salad. I had corned beef and cabbage because I hadn't managed to get any earlier in the year. We don't really have anywhere local that you can get good corned beef and cabbage. I had a house salad with it. The corned beef was wonderful, and the braised red cabbage was actually sweet and delicious, and I stuffed myself. Then we went to this toy store. We didn't have a lot of time for it, but now that we know where it is, we may go back. They had quite a bit. I didn't get a chance to look at everything, but there was. I noticed that there was a large amount of Star Wars collectibles. I was looking at some of the older G.I. Joe collectible items. Then we went to the Cyberling Mansion. This is a 1890s Victorian mansion that was built in Kokomo. Beautiful house, beautiful place. 3 stories. It also is the Howard County Museum, and you can take tours of it. We did not actually take a tour. We didn't have the time, but we did get a chance to just kind of look around a little bit. Took some pictures. Some gorgeous woodwork throughout the house. With it being the museum, there was also some exhibits. There was a Civil War exhibit that I was looking at. Some really nice historic pieces. From there, we went to Heritage Farms, which is an alpaca farm, and we went and saw the alpacas. They've got a good-sized herd. They also rent buildings on the property for weddings, bed and breakfast type of lodging. They've got a really nice old log cabin, old farmhouse that they rent out. It's the land is wonderful. They also do some camping. They've got a tree tent. Basically, it's kind of a canopy type of tent that's suspended from 3 trees that you can rent to sleep under. They were in the process of doing their first cutting of hay while we were there. Because of the weather, they hadn't been able to get out and get their hay mowed until now. And she was talking that they were trying to get it cut down so that they can get to their second cutting, because the alpacas don't really care for the first cutting of the hay. It's too stemmy for them. But the second cutting is what they need. So, but it was a very nice farm setup. They shear the alpacas for the fiber, and she cleans it and dyes it, and they sell the fiber. They also, have some of it made into various products. They have a small shop where you can buy things. Most of it is fiber from their alpacas for sale. So, once again, very interesting. And they do some workshops, and we were asking, they may at some point do a spinning workshop, which is one of the things that Sheri was interested in. And I did just realize that I skipped something that we went to see.
Yes.
We also visited the Shack Maker's Place. This is a site in downtown Kokomo that they have set up. for all sorts of crafting projects. There's a membership fee, and that gets you access to the building and all of the equipment inside, most all of which has been donated. And you get to, you can coordinate with other members, and, pick their brains over how to do projects. And they have equipment for just about any type of project you can think of. I mean, they've got some electronics equipment for doing electronics work, all sorts of woodworking equipment. They have a kiln for doing ceramics, pottery wheels, 3D printer for some 3D projects, just anything you can think of. You pretty much can find a way of doing something there. And it's basically, there's a membership fee, and then there's, for some of the consumable items, that you use in your crafting, they take donations for it. So you chip in some money to get, the materials, things like clay and the plastic filament for the 3D printer, things like that. You chip in some money to buy the materials, but then you can use it and make whatever it is that you're trying to make. And you can experiment with stuff and see if what you're trying to do is going to work. So we're very interested in that. Especially, we've gotten a kiln. We haven't hooked it up and set it up to operate yet. And this way, we could go and spend some time there using their kiln and learning how to operate a kiln properly before we actually start playing with our own. And this would save us a little bit of fumbling. And then we, before we left, we stopped at the Popcorn Cafe. This is a gourmet popcorn store. They make all their own popcorn seasonings in-house. They also make homemade fudge. And we were allowed to sample some popcorn, sample some fudge. I tried the cherry popcorn. It was a very nice cherry flavor topping on the popcorn. Tasted really good. But I'm not huge on popcorn.
I had the spicy buffalo popcorn.
Yeah, she had spicy buffalo popcorn.
It was good. I bought some.
And she actually bought a couple of little bags of it. We tried a couple of different types of the fudge. Wound up buying, 1.5 pounds of fudge.
Yes.
6 different flavors.
4 for you and 2 for me.
Yeah, 4 for me, 2 for her. Because it was, if you bought a pound, you got 1/2 pound for free. That kind of deal, we couldn't pass it up. And, I could have gotten...
couldn't pass up the fudge.
No, not really. It was too good. So, we had a really wonderful day. And we plan on definitely going back to do some more, see some other things that are in Kokomo or nearby. We were looking at, there is a French and Indian War reenactment, Kokomo, in late September. There's also the Grissom Air Show is coming up in the middle of September. It also ties in with the Grissom Air Museum, and we're thinking about trying to get to that. We definitely want to go back to the Cyberling Mansion and take the tour. I think the tour there was $10 a person, which is not a bad price at all. And I think that would be well worth the money. Spend some time there, go through the tour. But there was just a lot of things, a lot of opportunities of attractions and things to see. And Kokomo's not far away, so a nice day trip, and we can get a whole bunch of stuff that we get to see and do. So definitely a thumbs up for Kokomo. We're definitely going to go back and see some more stuff. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, had a great day.
Okay. So please subscribe. Help us out. Thank you.
Never know where our next adventure might be.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone who is already subscribing. Give us thumbs up, thumbs down, comments below. And we will see you again tomorrow. Have a great evening.